the last we're going to look at here today, Genesis chapter 6, and from our chronological reading. We actually also have 1 Chronicles chapter 1, verse 1 through 4. I won't include that. That's basically tracking the line of Seth. And so I can read it for you. 1 Chronicles, just so you can kind of see the reason why the chronicler would put that in there. Adam, Seth, Enosh, Kenan, Mahalalel, Jared, Enoch, Methuselah, Lamech, Noah, Shem, Ham, Japheth. That's from the 1 Chronicles 1 through 4. Now we're at chapter 6, and now we're getting over to Noah. A very interesting section. Let's read it. Remember, this is day 2. This is Genesis 6. That's in day 2 of the 1-year chronological reading. Once again, I'm reading through this passage, giving you what the Lord kind of gave me in my time, in my study. And use as much or as little of this as it's helpful to you. This just lets you kind of see what I'm kind of seeing in the text. And when man began to multiply on the face of the land, and daughters were born to them, the sons of God saw the daughters of men were attractive, and they took as their wives any they chose. Now, there's a huge amount of controversy over this passage. Okay, about who are the sons of God and the daughters of men. Okay, there's basically kind of 4 views. Let's see, one view is called the fallen angels view. Okay, and although many in this camp, actually, this is one of the views that I was taught by some of my professors in the past. The fallen angels view is that the sons of God here are angels that have decided to that have taken on personhood, and they are procreating with human beings, and they would say that daughters of men are human beings. I do not believe that's what this text is saying, although people who have the fallen angels view, I can say they're using Scripture to get to their view, because yes, it's true there are some passages where the sons of God is a title used for angels. Although I do not think that's accurate. Jesus in Matthew chapter 22, verse 30, talks about in glory that we're neither male nor female. I don't see that angels do that kind of thing. So the next view would be what's called the fallen angels possessing man view. So this view would be, well, we see demonic possession during Jesus' time, and what this is, these are fallen angels that have possessed a man, and that man has gone out and he has slept with women, daughters of men. That's a view that's very popular that's out there. Now we can see that angels, fallen demons can possess human beings. We see that in Jesus' ministry. We just don't see any examples of there being any kind of sex that happens as a result of that. I don't think that's in. I mean, if view 1 and 2 were the correct view, man, it's really out of left field. I mean, where we had contextually already been, we're at chapter 5. We're looking at Seth's line. Chapter 4, Cain's line. We got these 2 lines that come from Adam. One's the line of promise. One's the line of rebellion. It just doesn't make sense. So a third view, which I think is a closer view, It's called the Sethite view. And what that view basically is saying is, okay, the sons of God here, that's describing the godly line of Seth, and the daughters of men, this is the ungodly line of Cain, and they're coming together. That's what that is, the Sethite view. Okay, which I could say, if you are considering, if you're considering chapter 4 through 5 of Genesis, I could go, yeah, that seems much more contextually plausible. Fourth view, which would really be more where I would kind of hang my hat, would be the fallen men view, which it is friendly towards this view. The fallen men view is, the sons of God probably could have a heavy reference to the Sethite, the godly line of Seth, although not all the line of Seth is godly, because, we have Enoch who did walk with God, but we find he walks with God after he fathers Methuselah, so there was not perfection in the Seth line. All the Seth line were sinners because they come from Adam, and Adam all die, all are sinners. But from the line of Adam, and from the line of Seth, Seth had many sons and daughters, and so did Adam, and so did others from the line of Seth. And some of those were actually rebellious, and so that's why we have, the flood coming. So I would say this: it's possible that it's the Sethites, sons of God, and the daughters of men is the Canaanites, but I also will say all men are fallen, and so it could just be fallen men in general. But I do not see enough evidence to say either of those views. But these two views, I think, contextually hold a better thought. So that's just kind of background for you, for all of you who are just so interested in kind of knowing that background. Verse 3, Then the Lord said, My spirit shall not always abide in man forever, for he is flesh, his days shall be 120 years. So we see 120 years that God says, I'm going to bring destruction. Noah has 120 years to build, build the ark. And here's some of the judgment that's going on. It says, And the Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God came into the daughters of men and bore children to them. Now, and they were mighty men who were old and men of renown. So the thought with the 1 and 2 view is that basically the Nephilim were these giants, and these giants came about basically, these giants came from fallen angels and man. Now it's true that the word Nephilim can mean giants, but also that word Nephilim can mean fallen. Okay? And so sometimes this Nephilim would mean giants, and we would see that such as, it would be over in, should be, I made a note somewhere here about it. Oh yeah, you'd see that in Numbers 13:33. You could see that I think that's, Nephilim there would be actually giants. But here I believe it's referring to fallen sinners, fallen men, who it could be a coming together of the sons of God from the Seth line, the daughters of men, and they bore children, mighty men of renown. So I think this is kind of a better kind of equation, which would be basically you could call Seth's line and Cain's line, or in general just, sinners, which is all of mankind. But here's what we have. The people that are being born on the earth at this time, they are growing in exceeding wickedness. You can see this. And the Lord saw the wickedness. The man was great on the earth, and every intention of the thoughts of their hearts was evil continually. Like, God sees the heart. God sees the heart. He knows what's going on. He's not fooled. I mean, God sees the heart. This would have made great sense for Moses to be telling this to the children of Israel, because the Lord knew their heart. Yahweh, using the covenant name, is He's given this, and they're going in the promised land. And before they decide to sin physically, the intention of their hearts is already important. What goes in the heart determines all the actions that you do. That's why you see even the 10 commandments that God gives Israel. The last commandment, thou shalt not covet, that has to do with desire, thoughts of your heart. Wherever your heart is, there will your actions be. We sin not on accident. We sin because we have a sinful, wicked heart. And the way to get out of sin is we have to worship God from our heart. But what we have here at this time is there was just mass sinfulness. I mean, just going crazy. Now, how many were there? We're not really sure. I've seen on low side estimations 3 million people on the earth at the time, to as high as people saying there were 3 billion. You got to think, man was living a long time, having lots of kids, a lot of be fruitful and multiply. So it wouldn't surprise me. Either way, that's still a lot of people. A lot of bad can be done in a civilization when 3 million or 3 billion people are exploring their depravity to its furthest reaches. Experiencing their depravity so much that they're just described as fallen, Nephilim. And the Lord was sorry that He had made man on the earth, and it grieved Him. So He was sorry that He had done it. So the Lord said, I will blot out man whom I have created from the face of the land, man and animals, creeping things, birds and heavens, for I am sorry that I made them. So God says, okay, this pattern of redemption, I'm just going to wipe them clean. But then we see grace. And Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord. He found grace. And God, instead of wiping out man, continues His redemptive plan from the line of Seth, from the line of Adam, and sees Noah and offers him grace. And these are the generations of Noah. Noah was a righteous man, blameless in his generation. Noah walked with God, just like Enoch walked with God, just like Enoch did, just like Seth did. So we have Noah, except, I would say this, Noah was righteous and blameless, walked with God, but all that happened as a result of this happened first. First this, then this. God's grace had already met Noah. Noah didn't find God, God found Noah. And then God changes Noah. And this is what God does in us. He changes us. We don't find God, God finds us. We are rebellious. We are like the line of Cain, rebelling against God. So Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Now the earth was corrupt in God's sight, and the earth was filled with violence. This is what happens when man is pursuing his own way, violence. And God saw the earth, verse 12, and behold, it was corrupt, and all flesh had corrupted their way on the earth. I mean, doesn't this sound familiar today? I mean, we're dealing with just mass corruption all throughout a culture. We see the same thing. And God said to Noah, I have determined to make an end of all flesh. For the earth is filled with violence through them. Behold, I will destroy them with the earth. Make yourself, but here's the thing. So God says, I'm going to destroy the earth, but I'm going to save you by my grace. So God makes an ark. Now, just so we know, the ark, the ark points us to Christ. The ark is a place of protection. It's a place of shelter. It's a place of safety. It gives us a shadow of Christ, the ark. So he says, make yourself an ark of gopher wood. You'll make rooms in the ark. You'll cover it inside and out with pitch like a tar. Okay, it's going to water seal it. By the way, you can. I haven't got to go to this yet, but Ken Ham's ark in Kentucky. I look forward to going. There's a live scale model that you can look at. I can't wait to get. I'm hoping to go this year. This is how you make it. The length of it is to be 300 cubits, so that's about 450 feet long. That's basically 1.5 football fields of a football field. The breadth, 50 cubits. That'd be about 50 cubits. That'd be about 75 feet in breadth. Its height, 30 cubits. That'd be about 45 foot in height. There'll be a roof on it. There'll be a door on the ark that only God would shut. You'll see that later. Make it a lower, second, and third decks. So it had 3 levels. Ken Ham's ark has 3 levels. It's an exact replica of these kind of things that you see. So very interesting. By the way, watch a documentary with Bill Nye the Science Guy going through it with Ken Ham. I thought it was a very enlightening documentary. For behold, I will bring a flood of waters upon the earth to destroy all flesh, which is the breath of life under heaven. Everything that is on the earth shall die. Verse 18, but I will establish my covenant with you. So God says, I'm going to establish my covenant with you, that when you come into the ark, you and your sons and your wives with you. So God says, let me make a covenant with you. And of every living thing of all flesh, you shall bring 2 of every sort into the ark to keep them alive with you. They shall be they shall be male and female. So God says, you come on the ark, everything you come on the ark is going to be alive. I'm going to make this covenant with you. This is the promise I'm going to keep. And by the way, this would be huge because the people who were the first recipients of this writing from Moses' hand to the children of Israel, they knew all about covenants. Okay, they knew about covenants. I mean, they already had the Abrahamic covenant, right? So to hear about this this Noahic covenant here, to hear about this would have just been good to confirm that this is a covenant-keeping God. And by the way, that's why you find even Moses mixing in the covenant name Yahweh that Israel would have known. And of every... So let's keep going here. Verse 20. Of the birds according to their kind, of the animals according to their kind, of every creeping thing on the ground according to its kind, 2 of every sort shall come to keep them alive. We'll look in chapter 7 tomorrow that there was actually 7 pairs of clean animals, extra animals that were to be on the ark. We'll look at that tomorrow. Also take with you every sort of food that is eaten and stored up. It shall serve as food for you and for them. So God gives Noah all the instructions on how to build the ark, what to do, what to bring in it, from the animals, the clean and unclean, food storage. Here's the beauty of it. Here's Noah, not the Messiah, but boy, he's really doing things right. His dad was like, hey, maybe you'll bring rest and comfort. He's not able to, but Noah finds grace in God's sight, and Noah obeys the Lord. It says, and Noah did this, and he did all that God commanded him. Wow. How awesome would it be if this was kind of, if this was on basically our headstone, right? Was, and Nick did this. He did all that God commanded him. What a great way to be known in life, and did this, that all God commanded him. And I want you to know, this wasn't easy for Noah to do this. To build an ark of this size, great ridicule, would have been greatly, I can just imagine the mocking and the making fun of. Remember, he wasn't dealing with a very genteel type of people. They were already given to violence. They were already given to anarchy. I mean, you can even see the ease with which sinful man resorts into anarchy even today, even in a good country like America that's not perfect, but you can even see the descent of how quick anarchy can happen. We saw this in 2020. Noah stays the course, obeys the Lord, and he only obeys the Lord because first God's grace had already shined in his life, all right? First, before Noah is a righteous man and walks with God, it's because he found favor, grace in the eyes of the Lord. And the grace of God is the same grace that sustains and sanctifies Noah. And the same thing with us today. We can do all that God has commanded us. In fact, this is a great evidence for us of the authenticity of our faith, is that we will follow God's commandments. That's what God's people do. They follow his commandments. And so what a great way to end our reading today in chapter 6. I hope this was helpful to you, and reach out to me if you got any questions, and we'll see you for day 3 tomorrow.